Thank you, Brian. Well, the shadow of the theatre of dreams stretches across this ground tonight. But this in itself is yet another night to relish. Two of the Titans of 24 clash amidst this thunderous noise, and only one can take that giant step towards the ultimate prize. Brilliance, passion, courage and nerve, all squeezed into this next 80 minutes.
How good was that before the kick-off, Dave? My spine was tingling with that rendition. I'd give it a little respect. Respect is what they're looking for, and a place at Old Trafford is what they desire, and that's the first hit-up from Suaso Su.
It's going to be a night of big carries and big hits, but there's going to be some silky skills to look forward to as well. Hulkingston Rovers with a first chance to lay their mark tonight, but they've already reached tackle 5, so on the 6, Mikey Lewis ahead of the chase of Harrison gets the kick away, and Dufty will catch and turn and runs back at that solid line that pushes back, and I think it's early points for Hulkingston Rovers.
And pushing him back too, he made 236 metres, Matt Dufty, with the ball last week against St Helens. He's going to be under pressure, not just on those yardage kicks, but when it comes time for Hulkar to challenge the try line, those high bombs are coming for Matt Dufty.
Well, the noise is absolutely deafening. Hope this is coming through to you back home and you're enjoying this. It's another of these. It's another of these nights as Yates carries it now, 15 short of the halfway line. It's just about hard work and a little bit of bravery in these opening minutes. Bodies running into bodies before the game will settle down, and both sides looking to be on the right side of the scales when it does settle down.
Good pressure from Staunton meant that that kick went a little bit higher than intended. Distance not so much, and Hulkar looking to gain those metres through the ever-reliable Burgess and Ryan Hall.
Lewis looking to this left-hand side. Here's an important character tonight as well. Jack Broadbent playing in the absence of Gildard and Opachik. That's the coach's call, and of course what wasn't his call was the absence of Elliot Minchella, so a reshuffle to that Hulkingston Rovers pack, which wouldn't have been welcome, but they just get on with it as Sue takes it just beyond the halfway line. Not a lot of surprises in the Warrington lineup. A little bit of a reshuffle from last week, which means Zane Musgrove drops to 18th man. It's a little bit of a sign of the depth of quality that Warrington have at their availability, and they have possession back again with Williams throwing it inside. And one of the signings of the season, Roderick Tai, we don't talk about him a lot, but my goodness, he has been pretty special on occasions this year. And Hulkingston Rovers' turn to just pincer Warrington right where they are.
Big effort, huge effort in defence by both teams, but Hulkar, in fact both teams focusing on discipline, good kicking game, icing those chances when they come. It's a big night, and handling that man on last tackle.
Oh, Dufty's done well to spring to his feet there.
That should have been a penalty, Dave.
Kick is taken safely here, and taken back by Niall Evalds, who returns after a couple of weeks out.
Often does 2 carries in a set of 6, Matt Dufty. He'll catch the ball at the back, and he'll be in charge of that last carry before kick, trying to get a quick play of the ball for his kickers. I think he fumbled it on that last one.
So up to the halfway line. Elliot Minchella missing tonight, but he'll be hoping we'll be playing next week, if there is a next week for Hulkingston Rovers. Oh, this is looking a little bit promising, but Broadbent dealt with. Lewis back to the inside again. Tyrone May just hovering across and drops it back to Hadley, who looks as though he'd taken a bit of a knock, didn't he, a little earlier when he was challenging Dufty. He'll be hoping he's okay. Lewis with a high kick, and my goodness, is that high? There were bodies in the way. Tyrone May was leaping on the back of Luke Yates, who clearly cleverly put himself to make sure that May couldn't chase that ball.
Did his best to make sure that the road wasn't a straight one, the path wasn't a straight one. The territorial battle beginning, Warrington starting this set near the try line.
Well, this is an excellent carry out of dummy half by Matty Ashton, who turns a clearance run into a potential full break there. Dufty stepping, but into the arms of Matty Staunton. One kick, one play to go. So Williams comes out to Bateman, and here's Ty, and Ty with just a little measured kick towards the corner. Nothing too creative, but making sure that Evalds has lots of work to do. And Warrington have them where they want them just at the moment.
All off the back of the efforts of Matty Ashton. Broke the line, gained 20-30 metres for his side. That means that Hull KR now, they're coming away from their own try line.
5 minutes played already. Seem to say this regularly as well, how quickly these games go, because it is utterly absorbing, just draws you in, you can't look away. The physicality, the intensity, the noise that's spilling down from all four corners of this ground. Hadley now, inside for Sue. Sue straightens things up. His name echoing around the stadium from those responding Robins supporters. Lewis with a kick, looking for a corner, and out on the full. Pressure from Curry has forced the first mistake of the night.
That's fantastic work, working hard from the inside. Another player who worked extra hard last week, 54 tackles he put in for his side, but took all the time and space away from Mikey Lewis. Disappointed, but again track it back to the work of Matty Ashton coming away from his own line.
Well, the guys were saying beforehand the importance of the back row and how they can close George Williams down, but it's Warrington's back row who've just done a job there on Mikey Lewis, and it's given Warrington early position here. How nervous he is tonight. Walker takes it out. Williams with a short pass. No further forward. 20 metres out. Walker again, hands on hips. It's Yates who just takes that thunderous route down the middle. Setting the platform, resetting the platform. And suddenly Drinkwater's gone scampering to that left-hand side, and a kick back to the in-goal area. Well, that looked like a planned move, but it looked like those players on the inside hadn't read that planned move. There was no chase on that.
No, almost a right-angled kick, wasn't it, from Drinkwater, that trusty left boot of his that knows this pitch well, having spent some time here as a Hull KR player. Just didn't quite get the lines right. The chase not good enough on that occasion.
So it just gives an easier time. Oh, Hall spilt it, and it's stolen. Penalty for Hodgkinston Rovers. So they get a mistake in their advantage, and they have a chance for a full set inside their opponent's half.
Well, both John Wilkin and Sam Tompkins talking about how you have to put your body in front of Ryan Hall. 108, 109 kilograms, runs hard, he's got evasive skills, and Roderick Ty couldn't resist having a snatch at the ball.
Lewis on the inside for Sue. He's on quite a try-scoring run at the moment. Scored 2 in the last games. Out of dummy half goes Parcell to Hadley, offering it back on the inside again. Big bodies getting involved. Parcell waits. May, Tyrone May, up to the line and offers it away for Staunton to have a go. Stopped 10. 11 strides from where they want to be. Hadley again, just hurling their bodies at this Warrington defensive line at the moment. Parcell comes in and scampers and smothers it away to Hadley. Well, he's over the line, but he's not going to touch it down. They go back 10 and start again.
Held up. Great work on goal line defence from Warrington Wolves, making sure that Dean Hadley cannot put the ball down. Last tackle.
May again taking control, swings out a big ball. Broadbent tries to pad it on, but too ambitious for Hall to take in, and that moment fails, and Warrington have it back.
Well, in good ball, what players and coaches term as good ball, from the red line to the try line, they can afford to take some risk, and Ryan Hall is only just unable to get his fingertips on that tip-on from Jack Broadbent. Good ambition. Talked about icing those chances. Well, that's the first one that they've fluffed.
Well, you'd have to say Broadbent isn't necessarily first choice in a fully fit Hodgkinston Rovers 13.
You're right, Dave, but
when
he is a centre.
When he's played, he's been very good this year, hasn't he?
He is a centre. He can play full-back. He can play all in the backfield. Great defence again, making statements while it's their time to defend.
Warrington hard work. John Bateman told to stop milking it by the referee. Harrison now will trundle forward and hits the line and then hits the ground about 2 yards further forward. Walker again offering it left. Curry hands it on. Drinkwater now. Now they got some width and some pace. King with a step inside, but stumbles under the challenge of Hiku. But quickly up to play again. At speed, Warrington coming with Yates. Yates to the halfway line, but only one play to go. So they'll probably be looking for a kick here. Back to Williams. It's end over end, it's spinning. There's some distance travelled by Eccles to catch it, but he's taken it safely and immediately looking to launch something here. And Hall finds Roderick Ty as uncomfortable company to stop him in his way.
A really smart kick from George Williams. He made Hull KR run forward onto the ball. Probably 20 metres he had to run Niall Eccles to pouch it.
It's Parcell going right. Just a bounce forward again. Burgess joining in from that right wing. Sue, well, a bit of footwork, almost taking him through and then getting the offload away. Fabulous work from the prop forward. Hadley spins, can't get the pass out before he tumbles. But Hulkingston Rovers have advanced, and menacingly, and May goes out to Eccles, back in for Hiku. It's a potent right-hand side of attack that Hull KR have had this season with those individuals. But Warrington up to it again. May, one last play. Lewis, sticking it high. Pressure here on Thewlis from Hall, but it's the Warrington hand that gets the highest and bats it to relative safety.
A pressure-building kick, trying to put it on the head of Thewlis. It just does enough to get it over the island. But what about the footwork from Sue in the middle of the field? The lad's quite rightly having a bit of a joke about his try scoring so far in 2024, but it's that hard work, that workman-like effort that makes him so popular amongst his teammates and on the terraces as well.
Well, undoubtedly there are some headline-catching, sparkling individuals on both sides, but in a season like they both had, they have to rely also on a lot of quality in all departments, and Sue has certainly provided that for Rovers this year, and he comes again. And Lewis stands and waits, wondering what his next move's going to be. It's inside for Hadley. Hadley gets it on for Whitbread. One of 8 players in the 17 for Hull KR tonight who've made their debut for this club this year. May's another of them. Hiku catches but falls under the weight of the challenge. Still got a couple of tackles to go here. Still opportunities. Hadley to Sue. Sue tireless in his opening 12.5 minutes. Getting involved in quite a lot. Slows the play the ball with a tumble. Parcell comes out. Hadley on the angle, pushing hard again, looking for position. And with one play to go, the Robins are close. It comes to Lewis. Broadbent carrying a difficult ball on his hip and has to succumb to the tackle. But again, not a bad place. On a night when pressure is going to be important, not a bad place for the Robins to finish.
No, and Mikey Lewis taking the gamble to go on that short side, knowing that there were equal amount of attackers to defenders, handing the ball over and challenging the Wolves to come away from their own line.
Well, Warrington have been under the pump plenty in these opening exchanges, but it remains scoreless, and that is the most important facet of the night so far. King spins out. Walker onto Harrison. Harrison is sought out and tracked down and finished off by Staunton. Walker again. Just up the middle. Dufty. Both sides weathering a storm. It's back to Williams. Lewis was after him, but not quickly enough. Easily taken by Eccles, who runs it back, and Warrington's line is ready and waiting.
Do you know, with 14 minutes on the clock, and I reckon Hull KR have done a really good job at controlling the speed of the play of the ball. They're playing it quicker than their opponents, as Ryan Hall does on that occasion. And when they're defending, they're controlling and making sure Warrington can't gain any momentum at the play of the ball.
Staunton clambers to his feet. Hulkingston Rovers go searching again, different angles, same approach. Whitbread looking to rip his way through. Parcell and Hadley, and Dummies to Sue, and on to Lewis, and back comes Staunton, and here's Hadley once more. They're keeping the ball lively in the middle, but Warrington are keeping concentration and following every move. 1 to go again. Up it goes from Lewis. May again in hot pursuit. And Ty came in and blocked his run. John Bateman had a bit of a dip of the shoulder to try and put him off. But Ty quite clearly ran into the line of the chase and has given away the penalty.
You spotted it, I spotted it, the referee spotted it, and everybody watching spotted it. Changed the angle of his run, leaned in to Tyrone May, and that's an easy penalty to give away. Hull again enjoying good field position and putting all this stress, all this nervous energy being spent in defence by the Warrington Wolves.
Well, there's probably no surprise in the fact they're going for the tap, even on a night like this, when every point is priceless. But the Hull Rovers kicking game has not been great this year, so they want the 6, not the 2. And Sue takes them that close. Shadow of the sticks. Parcell out to May again. May's pass. Whitbread trying to haul himself through those clinging hands. But he has to go down and play the ball. Parcell. This is May. On the second attempt, puts the ball back inside for Lewis. Bouncing and bobbing, but ultimately thwarted. Parcell again. Here's May. There's a bit of width on that right-hand side, potentially. Batchelor strains up and reaches and scores the first try of the night. Warrington was stretched. Batchelor made sure they were stretched beyond breaking point. And Hull Rovers with the first strike.
A sliding defence is in front of James Batchelor, but make no mistake, this is pure desire. Here's the penalty, Roderick Ty. Easy penalty on Tyrone May. And from that field position, watch what Batchelor has in front of him. A sliding defence. Toby King is already trying to solve problems that haven't occurred yet. Batchelor, smart, instinct, leg drive. And that's his first try since April. What a start for the home team, and didn't it lift this big crowd?
And as you say, it comes on the back of a threat indirectly that the guys again highlighted in the build-up tonight. The threat of May on the chase to that high kick. You can track it all the way back to that, can't you, that try?
Well, it's about those small things in the big games, and Sam Burgess mentioned it before. It's about moments, owning the big moments, but the small moments as well, making sure all those efforts, all those little 1%ers are taken care of. And James Batchelor, a workhorse in this pack for Hull, is as good as anybody, but on that occasion he gets a well-deserved try for Hull, who've had 65% of the possession so far.
Yeah, they would have been worried had they not got points on the board, but they have got points on the board and confidence grows. Never had any problems with this fella's confidence, Mikey Lewis. 74 goals this season, not the best percentage, but let's put that to one side tonight. Never kicked a drop goal either, Mikey Lewis. I wonder if tonight's the night he might break that dog at some stage in this game. Might not come to that. Lewis settles. Friendly crowd behind him, keeping their silence. Oh, he's put it wide. He's put it wide. And we just put that down in the memory bank and just wonder how important these kicks might be.
Yeah, you talked about Tyrone May. Of course, his contribution when it came to the penalty was evident, but his ability to just drift through a game, he doesn't waste energy, and on that occasion he gives his back rower early ball and all that space to play with.
So belted downfield again and returned with a bit of zest again.
Hasn't he been good in the opening 18-19 minutes? Enormous intent by the big number 8.
Warrington desperate to keep their opponents as far down this end of the field as they possibly can.
And Dave, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about them controlling the speed of the ruck. Markers aren't set. The third man hasn't got back in place. That's where Hull have got the advantage early on in this game.
A bit up plays. Back down the middle, and Hadley 10 metres away from the halfway line. It's with Lewis, who's behind the 40 when he kicks that, but it's not going to trouble the touchline. It's straight into the arms of Thewlis, who returns in the face of that very organised chase again from Holkingston Rovers.
Yeah, something Sam Tompkins talked about before the game, the hard work that's required from Ashton and Thewlis when coming away from their own line. Thewlis on the first, Ashton on the third.
That was Ashton, little flutter of footwork as he takes it in. There's another who's on an incredible try-scoring run at the moment. Bateman to the halfway line. Started with a headband, he seems to have lost that. Williams now inside for Duffy, was threatened, but it's outside instead to King. And now a little stepping effort from Ashton, and a penalty goes Warrington's way.
Well, that's the threat the Warrington Wolves have got. They have got pace all over the field.
Yeah, it's back on Williams, mate, yeah, back on Williams.
George Williams is taken out after he's passed the ball. He shows it inside. You can see the options available to him. When he gets that ball, he's already thinking about Matt Duffy. That's the reason Tyrone May just hesitates a little bit. And then he's taken out after he's passed the ball. Simple penalty for the referee to award on George Williams. There it is. Head down, Hiku. He's not even looking, is he? He's just made that tackle, whether he's got the ball or not.
Clever timing in the carry from Williams before executing the pass. And Warrington in prime position. Best place they've been so far tonight. Can they respond to the concession of that early try? Yates settle things right down the middle, so they can come at Holkingston Rovers from either side. Curry goes left. Stumbling effort there, almost losing his feet. Nicholson plays, Walker. Curry again wants to take it himself. They're all over him. Lockley, who's on from the bench, leading that defensive effort and getting closer. Crowther. Back it comes to Drinkwater. Here's Williams with a jab through to the in-goal area and just watched coolly by Evalds. Warrington again are claiming an obstruction, but the decision goes Holkingston Rovers' way. They go on with it quickly, and Broadbent, in the blink of an eye, has his side back on the 30-metre mark.
My mind goes back to something John Wilkins said before the game. As a defender, when he played against George Williams, if he kicks the ball, he's done his job well. George Williams kicked that ball. It was a nothing kick, so defence tick for Hull KR.
That was Hall. This is Lewis. Staunton. Parcell. Hadley offering it back on the inside again. It's going through a familiar route here. Hard work and muscle to try and get themselves downfield, and that loop forward from there.
Yeah,
yes, it was. The touch judge on the far side has called that.
Forward pass. Just come down.
Yeah, you can see skips off that left foot, Tyrone May. Clearly forward. Willie Peters coming up in big games like this. Your detail has got to be right, your defence has got to be right, your discipline has got to be right. You sort those three key elements out and you go a long way to getting a victory in a big game like this.
So Warrington with a selection of where this scrum goes down, choosing the middle ground. The Erasure song is being belted out as well by 3/4 of the ground. Ty bumping off one. Here's Walker. Back on the inside for Crowther, who's wearing black boots. You've got to be a good player to wear black boots, Barry.
It used to be the other way around.
It did, didn't it?
Once upon a time. Crowther coming on off the bench. The bench is massive for both teams. When will Paul Vaughan be introduced?
Crowther again, and away to Williams, who's just asking a few questions of that Holkingston Rovers defence, and gets the pass away, and Ty hands it on now to Duffy. Duffy has a look, squares them up, tries to get those dancing feet moving, but they're having none of that. Ryan Hall was all over him. Drinkwater. And left it goes to Williams, and Williams throws it long to King, and King now trying to open things up. But Hiku grabbed a hold and pulled him down. Here's Williams again, being rushed at by Hadley, so forced into that kick. Not what he wanted, it was his only option.
But it was because of the work of Dean Hadley. So many occasions for Hull KR, he turns up and he does the work that nobody sees. That's why Dean Hadley, the number 11 in his shot, gets the praise from his teammates, and he just took that time, that think time, away from George Williams. That's why it was a nothing kick.
Try scorer Batchelor down, up and plays. Taken forward a step or two by Broadbent, and now the kick. It is behind the 40, and Duffy's on a race to get there, but he wins that race with some ease, diffusing that situation and trying to set up another from deep inside his own half.
The formula that work in Hull KR, the kick long, chase hard, has been effective. Big contact.
He's running into some bruising shoulders.
Warrington, when they
bruising shoulders, here's Roderick Ty.
Warrington, when they use the ball, when they spread the ball, they look dangerous on the edges, but they can't get anything in the middle. That's why I'm surprised Paul Vaughan hasn't been introduced yet.
Yates, couple of strides away from the halfway line. Walker to his right-hand side. Crowther's there again, but they've hit the fifth. Paul Vaughan's getting ready, pawing the ground on the touchline, waiting for his inclusion. Williams sticks it up there. Hall's having a look at what's in front of him. Ain't going to get there, but Thewlis has knocked it on, and then makes sure by just putting it out of play.
It's a dangerous kick, wasn't it? Warrington and Thewlis chasing and competing for that. He ends up a little bit disorientated. Josh Thewlis can't keep hold of the ball, but he gets to it, and you can see Ryan Hall is prepared to let him catch it. That's a dangerous game to play.
Plenty around him though, weren't there? So the Robins start from deep. Parcell. He's looking down that right side, and then the track back down towards the middle. Batchelor pushing hard.
Dave, I talked about the bench. Kalepi Tanganoa on for Hull KR now. They've only used 26 players in 30 games consistently. Willie Peters been able to call on the same men, same players, same pattern, same play.
It's a tangle of limbs at the moment. But eventually he's able to play it, and Parcell goes dashing out of dummy half again.
I think that's his first
within
goal.
range here.
I think that's his first run out of dummy half.
Switched back to Lewis. Lewis puts it high in the air. Thewlis underneath it, and knew there was pressure coming. Ryan Hall's done the job of getting there and stopping him there. And Warrington starting in a dangerous position here on their own line, but Hulkingston Rovers advance offside. I think it was Mikey Lewis who just jumped the gun there, and that really is an escape for Warrington.
Too keen Hull KR in defence there, but what a take under pressure from Josh Thewlis. He's had a little bit going on around him. He puts his hand up. Mikey Lewis knows he was a little bit too enthusiastic, but Thewlis under the high ball, under pressure, and facing Ryan Hall, the considerable frame of Ryan Hall, manages to draw a penalty out to the referee. Does well, catches it, turns, isn't put in the in goal.
Well, they might have been finishing the set about here. Instead, Warrington are starting the set. Bateman. Danny Walker. It's taking a long time here. Mikey Lewis is seeing his arms trapped in there.
Tan off. John, you'll not get nothing, mate, if you trap his arm. Tackle one.
Bateman,
I'll tell you what.
Bateman and Lewis having
Two
a little bit of a coming
competitors
together here.
If I was Mikey Lewis, I'd just take a step backwards. He will grind your bones to make his bread.
Under the skin of Bateman. Walker spins it. Hulkingston Rovers with fuel in their tank, but Williams going left, and now King, almost away. Desperate, lunging, defensive effort, skipping him up, but another set of 6 here. Another set. Ashton's given free rein to have a run out of there at dummy half, with 5 more plays to go. Warrington through Curry, and here comes Yates, who just hits them solidly. knocks them back, but only by a foot or two. Walker. Now it's Bateman. Bateman running over the top of Mikey Lewis. Round 2 of that little personal confrontation. And Bateman wins that and puts his side within 10. And Bateman's slow again. And he's aggravated again. Curry. And now it's Williams. And Williams to Dufty. And Dufty with a dummy! But an obstruction. Well, the way just opened up. The gates suddenly swung back. But the referee said illegally. Warrington are denied.
Well, it looked like Warrington, after 29 minutes, had unpicked the lock. You can see a big ball. Good distance from dummy half. And the line and the run of Matty Nicholson takes out a defender, and that's the reason the fullback was able to stroll through a space.
It's a let-off for Hawkins to Robus. Parcell impeded. And so they have a chance now, the home side, to gather ground again. But that was a warning. Clear shot across the bows. Here's Whitbread. This crowd has not shut up all night, has it?
No.
It's been joyful.
And they're being
sound,
royally
the
entertained, aren't they? What a great game of rugby league we've had so far.
Now he pops it back and Batchelor takes an inside route. But isn't able to struggle much further than that. Hadley, May, right up to the line. Kalepi Tanganoa, who's on from the bench. Well met by those Warrington defenders, led by Bateman. May again. Here's Lockley. Doing his job. Finding a place to give the best attacking opportunity here on the last play. May out wide. Hiku, brilliant hands. Burgess bulldozing for the corner. Body's in the way. And that's a handover. My goodness, that took some response in defence after some brilliance in attack.
For all money, it looked like a try, didn't it? Drinkwater gets enough on him. Matt Dufty ends up getting in or around the ball. But it looked like that line had been broken, but enough effort from Warrington to make sure it didn't result in points.
This is the night when you ignore fatigue and ignore sore bodies and sore arms and sore legs. You just have to dig deep and keep doing it. And that's what both sides are doing at the moment. Williams, little dummy, and then he gets it away, but to the wrong man. He's passed the Broadbent, and then there's a tangle, and it's Lewis
It's been bubbling,
and Williams
hasn't it?
who are having a go against each other.
It has been bubbling for the last 2 or 3 minutes. It started with Mikey Lewis, John Bateman. John Bateman then decided Kalepi Tanganoa could come and join the party. And when Tanganoa shoves, oh well, Mikey Lewis is there as well. He shoves George Williams. There's the two of them, and George Williams and Mikey Lewis.
Time's off.
Not a punch thrown, shoving, pushing, and just a little bit of petulance from Mikey Lewis when his opposite number had got a bit from Kalepi Tanganoa. I think Mikey Lewis will get a telling, even though he wasn't involved in it at first.
Well, let's hear from Liam Moore.
Captain, please.
Two captains being called out.
George.
Batchelor and Williams.
How are we doing, boys?
You're going to get that in the top end.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Just let me speak, George. It's a big game, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
I appreciate they made the error with the pass. And we've got you and Mikey Lewis coming together in back play. Now, my reading of it is just pushing and shoving.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with the play of the ball.
Okay.
Now, when I don't, responsibility as captains, especially the senior blokes on the team, I don't want players running in, okay? Going to go tackle one, put the responsibility back on your players. Cheers, mate. Cheers, George. Tackle one.
All very reasonably sorted out, wasn't it? You'd expect nothing less.
I love watching Mikey Lewis when he's right on the line, right on the edge. The word that's been bandied about this week for Mikey Lewis is maturity. He's got to get back, focus on what his side need him to do. Leave John Bateman and the likes of John Bateman to be the agitators within this game.
There's Whitbread with that first battle engagement after the stoppage. Parcell Left to Lewis, inside for Tanginoa, who's bouncing off. Well, 1, almost 2 and 3, but they hang on, just. Parcell again, scampering. Hadley to Luckley. Luckley now, pushing away and pushing hard with those legs. But 3 of them gathered round, hampering her progress to the point of stop. Parcell again, May now. Back he comes to Evans, who's joining in the line, and Batchelor pushes on, but they've only 1 play to go here. Hulkingston Rovers from 15 yards. May will put the kick towards the corner. Ashton's read that, got across, and he's caught it well. He's caught it very well.
Had to be brave, Matty Ashton. Joe Burgess was trying to time his run and catch. And it's time for the Rovers now to put some pressure on him defensively.
I was going to say, the referee's just described that as dominant. I think that's the understatement of the night, that tackle.
Competing for everything, aren't they, Hulkar? You have to say that Warrington have been under the pump and are doing incredibly well to only be 4 behind on the scoreboard.
Scraggy little run from Thewlis, got good ground, and that's followed up by Ashton. Every yard important, but they're on the last. Williams needs as much time as possible to get that ball booted downfield. He won't be happy with that because it's caught on the fall by Ryan Hall, who's back close to the halfway line before the Warrington players can get to him.
Again, just over 20 metres made with the ball from Warrington. It was a kick, probably 20-25 metres, caught on the full.
Lewis on the inside. Tanginoa with a heavy carry. Parcell waits and sets in that general's position again. No look pass to May. May out wide. Batchelor with a dummy, then goes striding through. Evans gets it away. Hiku carries on. Warrington's defence responds and recovers, but they've got 2 more tackles to take. Hulkingston Rovers are riding the crest of a wave at the moment, and a run out from dummy half. Well, we can see the ball. Has he got it down?
Time off.
I don't think so, judging by his reaction.
Have a try.
And that's massive. Joe Burgess in amongst all of that. And it's massive because if we don't see a clear angle here, the try's going to be given. Let's hear from the video referee, Jack Smith.
It's tackle 4. We've got a try on field. We're just checking grounding of the ball, please. This angle will go towards the line. He's in possession at this point. It's tackle 4. Ball is going towards the line, and the first angle looked short, but then he ends up over the line, and we lose the ball. Have we got any angles that show the ball? Camera 10 might show us the best. Is camera 10 coming now? Ball is there. It's short at that point. Where's the ball on this? And the ball is then up. Does it touch the line on this angle at any point? Go again on this angle. The live decision is a try. Ball is short of the line at that point. Keep rolling it on, and then we lose the ball at that point before it then ends up over the line. But does it touch the line on its way through? Can we go back on the same angle? Have we got any other angles that show the ball, or is the camera 10 going to be our best one? Try this angle to see, but we're not going to have a clue where the line is on this. Can't see where the line is on that. Try and run it through and we'll see if we see where the line is. It's tackle 4. And you always lose the ball. Is there anything from the corner flag? Does that give us anything better? Tackle 4. Ball is coming. Short at that point. We've established he ends up over the line. And we lose the ball on that. We'll finish on camera 10, please. So this is going to be our best angle. Let's run it through and slow on this angle. Going towards the line. It's always momentum. Keep going slow. Keep going slow. And then we lose the ball again. And then it ends up. Go back on the same angle, please. Keep going slow on this angle. Slow, slow, slow. And the ball we lose there, and at that point it could be touching the line. We've got insufficient evidence to overturn the live call of a try. I've made my decision.
It's the season for controversy, and that is a big, big talking point. This is going to be given. Video referee could not find a way to overturn it, and the try is confirmed for Joe Burgess. What I would say, Barry, is that for all the cameras we have round here, you have a look at the positioning of Liam Moore there. I don't think anyone had a better view of that ball than he did, and he said try.
I agree, Dave. But on the angles that we looked at, on the replays that we looked at, and again I judge, a lot of the times the player will tell you himself whether he thinks he's got it right. I feared something like this because of the way we do our try no try video ref system. For me, Hull KR have got one there that they shouldn't have done. He was short, he was held up, but it's been given.
Well, Mikey Lewis looking to turn the 2 at the 4 into 6, and he has does. Low trajectory, 10 points to 0. He'll take it. He's a lawyer by trade. He'd have argued that one in the courtrooms, I'm sure. Of course it's a try.
Neil Hudgell does not care one jot about whether it is or it isn't, but it has been given. I think they've rode the luck on that one. Warrington look like they've done enough. Now, what is their reaction? Are they going to sulk, feel hard done by? Are they going to react in a positive way?
Well, that, by the way, is Joe Burgess' 18th try of the season. He's on a run at the moment. 9 in this, the 7th game in which he's played. 9 in the last 7. So he's in form just when it matters the most. And at the moment, Hull Kingston Rovers certainly deserve the lead. If not that try, they deserve the lead.
Yeah, quality from Hull KR. As I say, I think they're winning the speed of the play of the ball. Defence isn't able to get organised and back in time. And there's a little bit of an element of scramble from Warrington. I still think they're doing well.
Well, don't forget that at half-time we'll be looking back at all those moments, and especially that last moment. It's going to be fascinating to hear the views of Brian and Sam and John on that. They might have seen something different that we maybe didn't catch up here. But it is Warrington with 3 and a bit minutes to go in this first period, looking for a response. And Ashton with that carry. And he's taken back. Going to be hearing from the 2 captains at half-time as well as they come off the field. It'll be fascinating also to hear how they think it's going so far. Walker, looked left, came right, dances downfield. Hadley, May, waiting for him, as is Whitehead. Whitbread. Curry, inside. No way through. This curtain of Hull Kingston Rovers defence. And on the last play, with Williams having been involved in that last play, it's left to Drinkwater to kick downfield and taken safely again by Evelt, who runs it back and finds his way just about blocked. And Hull Kingston Rovers again in control of the situation. Ryan Hall. That's away by Lewis to Hiku. Seen some delicacy, some subtlety from Hiku. That was just about bludgeoning a path as far forward as he could. May again.
You have to say that, Dave. The tempo of this game has been incredible. The skill on short has been incredible. Perfect conditions for an open game of rugby league tonight.
Whitbread to within 30. 1 play to go. Lewis sticking it up. Oh, there were hands on that from Curry. Charge down. So Hull Kingston Rovers get head and feet here. Pressure reduced, but Hull KR have it back. And there's time for a full set.
Absolutely there is. Absolutely there is. I think Warrington probably just need to have some possession. They have speed and pace all over this back line, but they haven't been able to showcase that. Spent a large part of this game defending. 119 carries with the ball for Hull KR.
What Warrington cannot afford is to concede another. If Hull Kingston Rovers can convert position into points here, It's job well and truly half done. I'm not sure what Tyrone May was doing.
No, it comes from behind. Scrum down, boys.
Got a connection with a working defender.
Scrum down.
Tyrone May just loses control of the ball, doesn't it?
Changed his mind mid-pass.
Yeah, didn't like the angle, didn't like the timing of the run from his back row. I mentioned before, carries heavily in favour of Hull KR. 208 tackles Warrington Wolves have done so far in this match, which is a heck of a lot of work defensively.
Well, the brains trust is there. Sam Burgess will be listening to those experienced men behind him and around him, and no doubt will be imparting all that wisdom to the players at half-time. Warrington running out of time. Penalty though, they'll get one last dig, a kick to touch, and then maybe a shot play.
Matty Ashton looks the most dangerous player with ball in hand for Warrington Wolves. When he's on the edge, trying to find space, Hull KR are finding it really hard to handle him.
Well, they're a long way away, but they have a slight chance here of maybe posting points. It's a big kick from Drinkwater. That was the first part of that. And now they've one play to go before the hooter sounds for the end of the game. For the end of the half, I should say. Dufty. Here comes Ty. Ty now carries it on, but goes all the way to the touchline and carried out of play. And the referee does blow his whistle to confirm that is the end of what has been a pulsating, breathless first half, but has undoubtedly belonged to Hull Kingston Rovers. Well, a whole season, you know, we kicked off in February, and a whole season for one of these two teams comes down to this next 40 minutes. How you look back on 2024, Warrington or Hull Kingston Rovers, will be defined by what comes in the next blink of an eye. It's all on the line here, Barry.
Well, what a 40 minutes Hull Kingston Rovers put in there, but you can see from that charge that Philbin put in, Joe Philbin picked up and drove back. The forwards need to stand up, run with purpose, run with punch, generate some ruck speed for the likes of George Williams to play off. That's as simple as it gets for Warrington.
Well, the queues outside this stadium started about an hour before the turnstiles opened. It's a full house. The atmosphere has been joyous right from the start. And you have to say Hull Kingston Rovers fans are in full voice still. They need to find a way to Warrington to quieten them, and they're doing it off the playbook here on this last play. They were set up for a Walker kick. He couldn't get it away. Four pairs of hands later, and Hull Kingston Rovers do their job in defence and get that first blow landed in this second half.
Yes, it's scruffy and ugly from Warrington Wolves. Danny Walker doesn't have any space to get the kick away. It's a made-up play from that point. But look at the Hull KR players. Look at the urgency. They sniff a mistake, they sniff something that's not quite right, and they pounce on the Wolves.
Well, if they can get their names on the board next, Hull Kingston Rovers, the task is beyond enormous for Warrington.
The next try is massive, Dave, massive.
Says Whitbread, taking it in. Parcells having a little look right and left. He decides left to Hadley. Hadley's short ball, Tanganoa, as he has done so often this year, threatening to break the line. Takes some determination to hold on to him. Hadley back to May. May now. Evalds to Hicko. Hicko has lost the ball, and it has gone forwards. Peter Hicko's having a look down. The referee's made his decision.
He's got that skip, hasn't he? Almost flying in midair and steps, and you can see quite clearly Toby King has a tug at the ball. I'm just watching that develop on that far side away from us. Tanganoa and John Bateman, who's been involved in a couple of fracas, they're having a good duel over on that far side.
Still so long to play in this game, 37 minutes and some. But the longer it goes on like this, the wobblier Warrington's legs get, the harder to suck in the oxygen gets, because it'll be a case of desperation and frustration. They'll need to score early.
And the nerves and anxiety will start to kick in. Warrington will take more risks, force play, whether it comes off or not. They'll have to start chancing their arm, and that's the position mentally and physically you don't want to be in a big game.
3 tackles, minimum meterage gained. Walker out of dummy half, Philbin on the field, spinning and bursting. He's a whirlwind often, isn't he? Like a hurricane when he comes on, very often, Philbin.
Made a big difference, didn't he, last week in that game against St Helens? That's probably why he's got the nod before Vaughan.
They're on the last, so Drinkwater puts it up there. Burgess catches and looks for a way forward, but Nicholson straight away in his path.
Too easy for Burgess, catches it with a good 5 or 6 metres of freedom in front of him. They have to make it a contest. A bit more hang time from Warrington.
Here's May, looking inside again for Ryan Hall, doing the hard labour, gathering in extra yards, and out of dummy half springs Parcell, but just as far as he's sprung, he's pushed back. Warrington responding like for like. Lewis out to Whitbread, who's again confronted by a determined effort of Warrington defenders. Flick back to Lewis. Lewis runs away. Francoeur gets the kick downfield. It's pouched safely enough. And Thewlis running it back, but not getting far before he's caught up with. Game in the balance.
Dave, I'm just looking down here from the gantries. Took his...
Oh, it's a break here!
Off.
A break from Matty Ashton, but he fell to his knees. But he's up to the halfway line, finding a way through that Rovers line, and now it's with Ty. He's got Thewlis to his right-hand side. Ty, though, knows that he's just close to that touchline. Thewlis very nearly lost it, did well to keep a hold there. Looking for a big swing of the arms, almost slipped it. So loses a play. Williams inside to Bateman. Bateman now pops it back. Drinkwater's getting involved. Drinkwater with a miss-out pass. King now looks to his left, steps on the inside, tries to go against the grain of that defence, because I think they would have smashed Ashton if he passed it away. Ashton goes out of dummy half, and he's got it down. We're going for another one upstairs. He says try on the field. Again, it's a big call. But how do we see this one? Let's hear from Jack Smith.
It's tackle 5, line decision is a try. We're just checking grounding of the ball, please. See what happens to Ashton here. He's reaching out to ground the ball. It's in his possession. It's in his possession. It appears to stay in the fingers on that. We'll just check her opposite angle just to check it, this reverse angle. Just to double check it, back on this angle. And go slow now. It's in his hand, always in his hand. And the ball is grounded on the line. I've made my decision.
Well, Matty Ashton has scored much more thrilling tries than that. None more important in 2024. His 31st try in only 29 appearances. That's 13 now in 14 games. And he cannot be stopped.
We said he was a danger. We said he was a threat. And he saw the opportunity in front of him. 7 tries in 7 consecutive games from Matty Ashton. Beautiful ball movement from Warrington Wolves. Bateman to Drinkwater. Good decision to give Toby King that ball. He has a couple of decisions going through his mind. Hulkiar trying to buy a little bit of time at the play of the ball. Hiku out, opens the door, presents the opportunity, and Ashton makes no mistake. Warrington's first try. It's taken 46 minutes to get on the scoreboard.
100th appearance for Warrington as well tonight, Matty Ashton. And he loves playing against Hulkingston Rovers, because there's now 5 consecutive games he's scored against them. He'd have been on the watch list before the night began, but they didn't watch closely enough. And that pocket of Warrington fans suddenly finds voice and finds hope. It was scarce in the first half. It returns early in the second. Rovers fans responding in volume. Thewlis with a big kick to draw his side back to within 4 points. He's pulled it wide. It remains 10 points to 4. And Jenna Brooks, you've got news for us down on the touchline.
Yeah, just less than a week ago, just remember, Warrington were behind at half-time to St Helens. They went on to win that game. They are not in unfamiliar territory here tonight. At half-time, Sam Burgess said to me, this team have been in tough situations before. He's not worried. It's clear his players aren't worried either.
One of the few to come here and win as well this season, aren't they, Warrington? 22-20 back in March. Here's Philbin. Putting all concerns for self-endangerment to one side. Vaughan's on the field.
Paul Vaughan's on big responsibility for him. He's got to lead this pack of forwards. Philbin with the first carry, Vaughan with the second. Nice footwork from Crowther.
What does that tell you as a former big game prop forward? The fact that he is a big game prop forward, and it's taken to this point for him to come on.
He's not match fit. He's been off. He's spent 3 weeks out with a suspension. His coach, Sam Burgess, wants to use him at precisely the right point, and he thinks that 45, 46 minutes in is that time.
Walker up to halfway. One play to go. Drinkwater, left foot, comes into play. Hooking that ball towards Evalds. Evalds shifting in the ground, ever so slightly to collect and return. And Warrington are back up to meet him. We've got a game now, Barry. We've got a game now at 10 points to 4.
Without a doubt, it's raised the confidence levels of Warrington Wolves. And it's just put a bit of a back foot on Hull KR.
1985, the last time Hull Kingston Rovers won a major trophy. 1955, the last time Warrington won the Champions League title. And they both know that they have to win tonight if they're going to rewrite that personal history. At the moment, Hull Kingston Rovers just about noses ahead. Lewis's kick downfield. There's still a big task next week against either Wigan or Lee if they're going to rewrite that personal history, but my goodness, it's a big step needed here tonight. That's tomorrow, by the way. That's going to be fantastic as well. Every playoff game. Wigan against Lee. We're on air at 5 o'clock on Sky Sports Plus. Make sure you're there for that, because these playoffs are compelling. There's King. Walker out there. Philbin crashes in again.
Oh, great shot from, is it Jack Brown? Yeah, knocks Philbin right off his feet. Just come onto the field.
That's Walker's kick out of dummy half. He punches the air in frustration because he wasn't anticipating Ryan Hall to collect that on the full.
What about that? Perfect tackle technique. That's the way to make an impact when you come off the bench.
Hull Kingston Rovers trying to reassert dominance to build on that lead again. Hiku, the noise, if anything, is getting even louder at the moment. Out it comes. Hadley puts it back on the inside. Carried in. No further way forward. May inside to Evalds. Evalds skipping. Bateman recovers, gets a help from a couple of teammates. But Hull Kingston Rovers are creeping closer here. Lewis, back to May. May, away from one, keeps it alive, still alive. Evalds tosses it backwards, step on the inside. Sue didn't realise how close he was. And by the time he did, Warrington's defence has recovered and keeps him out.
He's only just got on the field, Suaso Sue. Almost scored another close-range try. Beautiful hands, beautiful interplay. And look where Warrington start their set of 6. They're making more ground when they have the ball, Hull Kingston Rovers, and the skill is absolutely spot on tonight.
10-4, game in the balance. Tie. Again, personal safety to the back of the head as they run it in hard and try and earn a few metres here. Vaughan's on tackle 3. Walker's there, looking to deliver again. Drinkwater wants it and puts it out, and Williams earns a bit of room. Just sandwiched between a couple of defenders. Dufty was there in anticipation of the out ball, but it didn't come. Walker now to King. King gets it on again. Here comes the Flying Ashton. But the Flying Ashton is grounded.
Joe Burgess with the ankle tap. That was a try.
Let's play. Williams kicking it. up and into the in-goal area, and the bounce is just shielded out of play.
He's touched it, Broadbent. I don't think he needed to touch that. Probably bounced into him, but what an ankle tap from Joe Burgess. Matty Ashton with support on the inside. It was looking like a try. Oh, desperate from the winger. And then again, a high kick, a good chase from Warrington. He had time, and you bet Ryan Hall was telling him, you've got time to let it bounce. But it bounces into him, puts his hand out to protect himself. Good field position for Warrington.
Looking to belt it as far as they can, but here comes this next wave, led by Vaughan, who's led by example so often this season.
That's better from Vaughan. Breaking tackles, finding his front.
This is Nicholson, by the way. Philbin has gone off for an HIA, Joe Philbin. Saw some of the crashing efforts he put in, but he has gone off to be assessed. So news of that as the minutes tick on. Walker, Vaughan now straightening up again, just laying that platform again. Warrington have options right and left. They've gone right, and again it's a muscular effort, this time from Crowther. They've only got one play to go. Do they roll the dice here? Out it comes to Williams, on to Drinkwater. Drinkwater now, Dufty with a step back on the inside, caught by defenders, has to give the ball back, but the Robins are finding themselves in tough territory.
Take about Joe Burgess, again comes in, takes the gamble, snatches the fullback Matt Dufty. It looked like Warrington had created the overlap, had the extra numbers. Dufty steps back inside, and he's scruffed. He's grabbed by the scruff of the neck from Joe Burgess.
Well, we are biased because we love this sport, but is there a sport in the world of such intensity, of such physical collision, of so many questions being asked of mind and body on a night like tonight? Everybody is giving everything. Hull Kingston Rovers working their way back towards the halfway line. Sue now.
And nobody's giving up on this game. Not the fans in the terraces, not the fans sat at home, and definitely not the players on the field.
Lewis is inside the 20 when he lets that fly, inside the 40 I should say, but he's not going to get beyond Dewlis, who's running it back, and he in turn is not going to get beyond Hadley, who's got up there to make the tackle.
Warrington have to get back. Matty Ashton looking for a carry now. Warrington need to try and get back early, try and get back in numbers, not run one out, take some support with you.
Well, Danny Walker's the last. I mean, dummy half, he's the last. But he will have worked harder than anybody on that field, covering so much ground to get into the position he's in now.
Danny Walker, 34 tackles so far. Ben Curry, 44. You can see him with the ball there. Works hard in attack and defence.
2 plays to go. 6 points in it. 25 minutes left to play. Vaughan heavily in again. Defenders making sure they get there. Williams. He's advancing, but Williams gets a kick away towards a corner. That's nicely placed, because making it uncomfortable as possible for Evans to bring it out there. And Hull Kingston Rovers, now they struggle to get men behind the ball as Warrington come at them defensively. Burgess more lateral than forward.
Well, since half-time, that possession has balanced right back. It's pretty much 50-50 for both sides.
There is going to be a moment, isn't there? Maybe two, of pure joy or heartbreak, whichever side you're on.
Well, Warrington, I think it was Sam Tompkins said it before the game, they have to have more possession because of the nature of this ground, the away team.
The offload, and Ty on the floor was ready for that, and sprung himself up somehow to get his side back going in the right direction from their point of view.
Jack Brown with a crazy decision to offload the ball.
This is Curry.
Just how costly will that be now?
Walker. Williams, quick hands, didn't really look, but King's there, ready to take it, and he's done it a huge. Well, it was clearly a dummy because there was no one to pass to. So I don't think any defender bought that. Here's Walker. Nicholson. Could be his last Warrington game tonight. We'll be hoping the grand farewell will be at the grand final. Walker again. Curry. Williams going wide. Duffy with a little kick. The chase is on, and Hall does the defensive work. Well, clever play.
Great kick.
Clever
Absolutely
play.
spot on. Doesn't have much in front of him. Puts the ball on the end of his toe, and there's enough nerves in the minds of Hull KR. All came from that loose, wild offload from Jack Brown. Ryan Hall knows he just has to get it over the back line and give his team some breathing space.
Well, here's a test of Hulkingston Rovers' pedigree, their ability to stay ahead in big games, because they are being asked a lot of questions by this Warrington side, and there's a few more to come as Vaughan charges in. This is Danny Walker, Warrington born, man and boy, Warrington player. A childhood spent on the terraces and maybe early adulthood in a grand final, he hopes. Curry to within 20. Walker's having a look, Vaughan wants it. Williams is drifting left. Drinkwater's there, and this is Williams. And off to Duffy, and Duffy, wide pass, under, reach for the corner. This could be sensational from Matty Ashton. Inevitably, we are going to the video referee, but Matty Ashton might have produced a miracle here.
We have a try.
He says try.
Can you confirm
What
he's
about
in
the
the field,
video
Jack?
referee?
And he does
Let's
the
all
ball.
listen to Jack Smith.
It's tackle 3, live decision is a try. We're checking touchline into grounding, please. Matty Ashton's in possession at this point, and it's a legitimate tackle on him. Legs are in the field, still in the field when he leaves the ground, and that ball is grounded. Just go back on the same angle, please. Leaves from the field, yeah, run it through, leaves from the field. Feet are now up, and the ball is grounded. I've made my decision.
It is incredible, it is insane, it defies the laws of physics, week in, week out, what wingers do, and Matty Ashton is very much the cream of the crop, and a try that puts his side within touching distance
In the
of this Hulkingston Rovers team.
Of spaces, he manages to get the ball down. It was from the kick from his fullback, Matt Duffy. It forces the goal line dropout. And Matty Ashton, who's been the most dangerous player on the field. Matt Duffy, cast your mind back a couple of sets of 6 ago. He fakes the ball to go. Dummies the pass, goes back on the inside. This occasion, gives it early, goes across to the face of Toby King. And Matty Ashton, one of, if not the best winger in Super League in 2024, knows exactly what that means to the fans and his teammates.
Oh, this is big, this is big. Semi-final, 2 points the difference. This to squeeze the gap. Ulis from the touchline, missed the first one and has missed the second. Well, when Mikey Lewis missed his kick in the first half, we asked how important that would be. How important could that one be? Hulkingston Rovers retain the lead with an hour played.
Well, Sam Burgess shuffling all the chess pieces around. He's brought Sam Powell onto the field at 6 grand finals with Wigan. Plenty of experience in the team. Sam Burgess getting the messages down. Come on, he's saying, we need you.
2 points the difference, 20 minutes to play. Settle back. I know you're not moving anywhere, because this is a game you can't take your eyes off, and it's a penalty for Warrington for a ball steal.
Jai Whitbread involved in the tackle. There are hands all over the ball. Yeah, good spot by the referee. Luke Yates with hands all over the ball, can't keep hold of it, and that's a cheap penalty to give away.
Nicholson trying to find a path, almost finding a path.
They're starting to break tackles now, aren't they?
Whitbread just about found his ankles, otherwise that would have been devastating. This is Vaughan. the energy balance has just switched in this last 10 minutes or so.
And it's came since Vaughan entered the field of play.
Listen to the noise. Powell involved for the first time tonight. As Barry was saying, oh, that's a misconnect between Drinkwater and Curry, and the balance switches back to the red and whites. The Robins have it back again.
We are in that crucial, vital last quarter of the match. Everything to play for from both sides. Every mistake under the microscope. Drinkwater and Curry hand possession over to Hulkar, and the crowd erupts and gets behind Hulkar.
Well, as Jenna mentioned earlier, Warrington have the muscle memory of a game like this just a week ago against St Helens. They know what they're involved in. Hulkingston Rovers having to dig and having to keep their fingertips on this lead, as slender as it is. Another change that could prove vital as well. Lytton on the field. Hadley almost through. Here comes Lytton, looking to that left-hand side. Lewis puts it high. Duffy's wandering out, but the ball lands in no man's land and could go anywhere, and does, but it's an interception. Yeah, Nicholson has grabbed a hold, and Warrington able to clear their lines.
Well, the ball bounces. That's the old adage, never let a rugby league ball bounce. It bounces up to Hulkar. They find a loose offload and Warrington get hold of it. You mentioned Jez Lytton coming onto the field for Hulkar. He will speed. He will add some speed around the ruck. Matt Parcell probably only run from dummy half 2 or 3 occasions.
By the way, the news Jenna's reporting down on the touchline is that Joe Philbin has passed his HIA, so likely to see him back on the field. Here's Williams. What about the pass?
He's growing.
Body's in the way.
He's growing in his influence of this game now, isn't he, George Williams?
Drinkwater with a kick. Evalds again just scuttles on a yard or two to catch that. And here comes Burgess, quick as he can, trying to find the angle of the gap, but running into Curry. And that's a stop. Here's Hickert.
This game, Dave, started quick, didn't it? It started intense, and it's slowly and steadily getting quicker and more intense as the minutes tick by.
Don't forget, as you look down there, all the stuff we got this weekend. The Women's Super League Grand Final, St Helens against York, 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And a reminder as it went through that we've got another of these tomorrow, Wigan against Lee, and the Grand Final itself, 5 o'clock next Saturday. Whoever's there, it's going to be just like this. Here's Lewis. Lewis sticks it up. Thewlis climbs, doesn't make contact, goes to ground. Broadbent throws it back on the inside eventually, and then a diving save, and it's picked up by Thewlis, who threatens to go the distance, but before he does, he's tackled, and anyway the referee says knock on, and Hulkingston Rovers get it back, and the lift of anticipation is palpable inside this stadium.
Hearts in mouths everywhere, isn't there? Desperate attempts in defence from Warrington. Roderick Ty gets hold of the ball but spills it forward. You can see that Thewlis and Hall having a duel in the air. A speculative offload from Broadbent. If that goes to hand, that's another try. It doesn't, because of the desperate efforts of the Warrington players.
How big is this next set of 6? It starts from Hulkingston Rovers' point of view, 10 minutes out. Both benches know that this is a crucial 60 seconds or so coming up. Hulkingston Rovers can pepper this Warrington line. Can Warrington hold out? Or do Hulkingston Rovers find a key? This is Evalds. Inside for Batchelor. That's 2 tackles gone. So Lytton picks up. Throws it to Hadley. Hadley gets it onto Sue. Sue can't make too many strides before he's pushed back and to the ground. Plays, 3 to go. Whitbread, again they're looking for a straightforward barge on those first 4 plays. Maybe trickery to come with 2 plays to go. May gets it out. Tangano has dragged down. This is the last play, thrown out but Warrington's bodies somehow get there. Mikey Lewis is stopped. Warrington have it back. And if that was a big set of 6, Warrington will be feeling absolutely elated just at this moment.
Well, Warrington putting a big stint in on goal line defence. 16 times Warrington Wolves played the ball near their opponent's line.
Warrington are back on the back foot. Holkington Rovers, the ball's been dropped backwards and the referee says play on.
How did they do that, Warrington Wolves?
There's absolute chaos to this game. Absurdity and chaos.
Well, Roderick Ty, I don't think for 1 minute that this is an offload. He loses control and the experienced Sam Powell picks the ball up and gets out of the red zone. This is the first opportunity Hull KR have had with ball in hand, and they're trying to apply some pressure now in defence.
The noise becomes thunderous again. Warrington have just escaped big time. Holkington Rovers still have the lead, but frustrated it's not bigger. There's a spin on that gives Evans a problem. He's taken that on the half volley. That was a very special catch in the circumstances.
He did ever so well under enormous pressure, didn't he? I think he'd even hit the floor first.
It's T20 cricket suddenly we're watching as well.
Everything is under the microscope. I still don't know how Warrington managed to get out of their own in goal.
Lytton throws it out to Hadley. Hadley dummies to Whitbread, and eventually it finds its hands in Batchelor. James Batchelor. His brother's here tonight, Joe. Dumped into it at half-time. He's enjoying it. May spinning it back. Hadley. Inside track, sought by Sue. No value in a drop goal at this situation. Try is what they're after. Lewis tries going the aerial route. Pulis underneath it, catches and gets a little bit of an escape route as well. Just offers a little light relief to Warrington.
Tyrone May chasing really hard, trying to pick up the scraps for Hull KR, but Pulis does marvellous under that high ball.
Pulis, Dufty and now King. And Warrington have cleared their lines quite effectively here in 3 tackles. Up to the 30, they'll be pleased with that. Holkington Rovers again, just a little frustrated. And notable that it's the backs who have been involved in the first 4 tries. Philbin recovered from that HIA, so fresh from the sidelines. Takes it up to the halfway on tackle 5. Kick by Drinkwater. Burgess. Nothing certain on a night like this, but that would have been a catch he would have been expected to make. Evolds. Here's Ryan Hall. Lewis. Waiting again. Broadbent. Spilled.
He's clattered, wasn't it?
Taken a knock here as well.
Yeah, Joe Burgess, I think. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Jack Broadbent hits one player after being tackled by another.
Luckley's only just back on the field, but he's not making too many yards there.
Luckily on for Sue. Paul Vaughan has gone off. Philbin's come on.
Hadley, big minutes from him tonight, as you'd expect. Lytton. Last again. Lewis kicks downfield. Dufty catches. Warrington still need to score. As nervous and as tense as the situation is, it's still very much in Holkington Rovers' favour with 10 minutes to go. Tie.
Patience and composure, those 2 key words that came out of the changing rooms at half-time. Composure.
Harrison crashes in, takes a few of them with him. Yards after contact. Powell. Drinkwater. Williams looking to create. Dufty's involved. Heartbeats quicken amongst those Holkington Rovers defenders at that news. King. Luke Yates here. Expect nothing fancy from him. That's exactly the role he's been given. And now they want to quick play the ball so that Williams can get the kick. Litton's after him, but Williams does put it high. Burgess is being called out. and up he goes, and down he comes, and Warrington just pushing back a yard or two.
We're at that stage.
Start again in a difficult position.
We're at that stage of the game, last 10 minutes, where bigger men with bigger engines who've expended a lot of energy have the propensity to switch off. So I'd love to see Dufty sniffing around the play of the ball, trying to get an offload off one of his big men.
Well, the body language of so many players out there tells you that they are at the point of exhaustion.
Ben Curry, 56 tackles. Dean Hadley, 49 tackles.
Oh! That's a lucky bounce. And Burgess able to carry it on. So Hawkinson Rovers again. Tackle count run down. Lewis trying to find a way. Loses the ball, goes backwards. And in fact, knock on. So instead of a punishing kick downfield, Warrington get the ball back. Only 30 away from the whole KR line.
Good hustle from Warrington Wolves. Mikey Lewis had no option. Big bodies in front of him. Harrison. Sam Powell. Making it impossible for him to get that kick away. Mistake is forced.
Moments within matches. That was one of them. And minutes within matches. This is going to be one of those. Kingston Rovers, to a man, look exhausted, but having to find the resolve to keep Warrington at bay, to make their first ever grand final.
Just keep your eyes on Dufty. He'll be where the action is.
Back comes Yates. That's two big carries, taking Warrington to within 12. Now it's with Drinkwater. Williams tosses one over the top, asks Ashton to do something special here, and he's done well enough to actually get it back in field. Williams again. Harrison tucks it underneath the shoulder, drives it in, legs go up, cries for a penalty, none given. Powell to Drinkwater. Drinkwater with a dummy. Oh, those big men recovered their poise to grab a hold and put him down. Last play, here comes Williams. Williams now with a kick to the in-goal area. Evans juggles, but puts it out of play. They get a momentary relief from everything that's coming at them. But there's more to come in the next minute or so.
What a kick from George Williams. Left foot, puts it in the in-goal area. He has no option. Niall Evans. Belief on the terraces, belief in the primrose and blue.
If the noise gave you energy, both these sides have got plenty of energy. But sadly it doesn't. They can be encouraged, but they have to get through their own personal demons. There's play one. Powell out, Harrison trying to scissor his way through, and that's a good strong carry from James Harrison. Powell now stands and waits. Williams back on the inside. Bateman stumbling as he hits that line of defenders. 3 gone, 3 to go. Philbin stepping off the left foot, shaking off one defender. Can't get rid of 3 more. 2 to go. Spun away to Drinkwater. Williams now, back to Dufty. Curtain of defenders. Dufty threads it through. Burgess gets down, and Burgess has done really well. Kingston Rovers back in the field of play, and that's another big moment.
What a game Joe Burgess has had. In attack and defence, he's turned up, put his body on the line, saves a certain try for his team.
There's Batchelor. Looking to bat. All Kingston Rovers want to do is keep hold of the ball for 5, and they haven't. Ryan Hall's knocked on. Warrington have it back again, and Kingston Rovers are back to the walls again. Here we go.
The most experienced player on the field, Ryan Hall. Look at the anguish in his face. 999 times out of 1,000. He doesn't need to watch that ball. It goes into his hands. He catches it, and it's all on the line for Sam Burgess' team now.
Oh, they are edgy in the boxes, aren't they? There's no hiding the nerves and the tension up there. Back it comes to Williams. Williams stepping, almost through, still going. Just pulled down, 2 yards short. Powell moves in there, spinning it back. Bateman has a look at what's ahead of them, fancies his chances, but doesn't get far. Here's Powell again. Harrison's pawing the ground, but it goes shorter to Yates. Yates punching in. Hulkingston Rovers courageously hanging on here, on the edge of a precipice. Drinkwater, back to Dufty. Dufty finds May in attendance. They've only got a couple of plays to go. Hulkingston Rovers, so brave here, so committed. But Warrington, stretch them right. Ty dances away from one tackle, gets it out. Thewlis goes for the corner, but the referee's already decided the tackle was made. Well, he sits down, but look at the delight on those Hulkingston Rovers players.
Look at the celebration.
If they are going to a grand final, they are doing it on the back of the gutsiest of performances.
And they're doing it the hard way. In the dying moments of the game, a bobbling ball, Thewlis with the line at his mercy. Well, Roderick Ty gets this pass away.
Clearly forward.
Clearly forward. And Thewlis, were that pass not forward? Wow. It's what my old contemporary Steve-O used to say, it's up the jumper time now. No mistakes for Hull KR.
Well, we revel in the richness and variety of the glamour players that both these sides have got in their ranks. But I tell you what, this game will be remembered by the defensive effort, the commitment that both sides have shown, especially Hulkingston Rovers in this last 5 minutes or so.
Well, big games, particularly at this time of the year, are won and lost on defence. And I had a coach who used to say, big games aren't for enjoying, they're just about winning. Just get to the end and make sure you've got the cup in your hand.
Luckily, fans all around the field, bellowing their encouragement. Lewis behind the 40, but that doesn't matter, it's down the middle. It's caught by Dufty.
Last chance.
They're running out of options. Dufty looking for a break. Somehow, Hulkingston Rovers get to him again. King inside. This now is Ashton. Walker back in there at dummy half. Throws it in field. Curry takes it on. 5 away from the halfway line. Walker picks up. Who wants it now? Drinkwater. Now it's Williams. Williams running left. King takes it on. Back to Williams. Williams inside to Drinkwater. Still they keep it alive. Powell has a look for the big pass. Decides that's not on. Takes the safer option. 2 plays to go. The game's up in these next 2 plays, surely. Back it comes to Dufty. Dufty, he's lost it. King shovels it on, touches down. The referee, I'm pretty certain, thought there was a knock-on.
Tackle 4, mate. We have no try.
No try.
Just confirm it is lost by Dufty,
but as we've
Jack.
said before, on such an important night like this, you have to go to the video referee to check it, and that's exactly what's happening. Jack Smith.
It's tackle 4, we've got no try on field. We're checking for a knock-on in the build-up from Matt Dufty. Let's run this through on this angle. It's in possession. Hull KR are trying to make a legitimate tackle on him. That ball just appears to be lost. Can we just check the wide angle, please, just to check the relation to the ground? It appears forward on that. Check this angle, then we'll flip to camera 4. Established that they're trying to just make a legitimate tackle on him. Right, can we go to the wide angle, please? Camera 4, just to check direction of travel, where he loses the ball. So we can go now from this. Dufty loses the ball there, and the ball lands in front of the point at which he lost the ball. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Is that the moment? Hulkingston Rovers will get the ball back. There's only just over a minute to go, and the Robins are still dreaming of a grand final. for the first time in their history. You sense he knows that opportunity slipped.
Yeah.
Even without their star man, they look as though they've got the job done. And boy, what a job they have done. Is there one more twist in a game that has been incredible?
What a game Joe Burgess has had in attack and defence. His side, his right edge, has been under siege all day, and you have to credit Dean Hadley. You have to credit Dean Hadley for the job and the role that he's played in covering up for Elliot Minchella.
Well, if anybody passes the ball now, I will be amazed. 39 seconds away from history, and getting closer with every carry that goes in, with every second that counts down. Will Warrington get hands on ball again? Do they have another chance? Or do Holkingston Rovers see this home? Old Trafford beckons. So close. Ryan Hall again. Big body, big carry. He's on the edge of his seat. They're already celebrating. Countdown is on. Hooter sounds. Holkingston Rovers, heart and soul. Heroic and epic. What a performance that was from them tonight. They are celebrating the most courageous of defensive efforts you will see. Unbelievable. History written the hard way. Holkingston Rovers are in a grand final.
Well, this remarkable season for Hull KR goes all the way to Old Trafford. Mikey Lewis not at his best. Hull KR defended their way to victory this evening, encouraged and supported by this massive army of red and white fans. And they're going to Old Trafford. They will enjoy their night, I'm sure.